Hello everyone, day 930, walking 5 miles per day every single day without missing a single solitary day. This is going to be the most difficult video I've ever shot, simply because of my ignorance. And if you will bear with me through this, I hope by the end you'll understand. At 3:29 a.m. this morning, 2 words entered my mind after experiencing what we experienced last Wednesday. Jesus wept. So at 3:35 this morning, I Googled it, and I am no biblical scholar. In fact, I'll get into that in a little bit. But Jesus wept 3 times in the Bible. I'm trying to do this by memory, so again, forgive me. Number 1, he wept at Lazarus' tomb when Mary and Martha were there, sobbing over their brother. Number 2, he wept when he saw Jerusalem and the judgment that was awaiting them. And number 3, he wept in the Garden of Gethsemane. I hope I pronounced that correct. When he reflected on the weight of sin and his humanity. I believe Jesus wept again Wednesday. He wept for Charlie Kirk. He wept for our nation. He wept for all the people that Charlie Kirk has brought to Jesus. I believe that. Again, I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm getting ready to walk right by a church. I hope they don't hear me. But I honestly believe that. Now, Charlie Kirk's assassination not only struck a chord in me, but many, many, many other people across the world. Just yesterday, 3 million people walked the streets of London protesting for freedom. 3 million. No matter how tyrannical a government is, they can't ignore that. They can't. Now, Charlie's murder has affected me and will affect me probably the rest of my life. But what prompted this video, titled Jesus Wept, was his wife Erica. 2 nights ago, she shot a video and showed more strength and more conviction and more love for Jesus, her husband, and her country than anything I have ever seen in my entire life. She shook me to my core. So, a little inside baseball. I'm not going to get into the weeds here, but I've been married for 46 years, but I've been separated for a while. Let's just say that. It's been a while. Not for the usual suspects of reason why people separate. None of that. It's just my wife got tired of the inconsistency of an entrepreneur. We'll leave it at that. However, we have continued to date. We just can't live in the same house right now. It's very complicated. Again, not worth getting into. So I live in an apartment. She lives in the house. And it is what it is. We went on a date yesterday, and we always talk, but we've been together for 49 years. We dated for 3. In 49 years, I have never had this conversation with her. That is why I know I am supposed to be doing what I'm doing right here, right now, without any doubt or reservation, period. I asked her to find me an audiobook. The reason I do audiobooks is I have a very difficult time reading. I can read. I don't really have a learning disability, I don't think. When I read, all I see is words. They don't jump off the page like I hear people talking about. It's just reading word after word after word, and I don't get much out of it. But listening and then writing and then reading makes a difference to me. That's just the way I learn. So I asked her yesterday to find me an audiobook that would help an absolute beginner begin to understand Jesus Christ. I'm not going to get dramatic here and say she cried, because I don't think she did. But she got quiet. And after we finished our date, within an hour and a half, she texted me an audiobook. And I tried to remember the name of it, but I was so conscious on focusing on the 3 times when Jesus wept, I've forgotten the title of the audiobook. I'll share that with you later. I've got it in my ears right now. It's muted for right now. So I have put David Goggins to the side, and I'm going to listen to this audiobook every day for an hour and a half, every single day. And then my prayer is I will take that and morph it into something else. I also went to a meeting yesterday of the local Republican Party. I've never really considered myself a Republican, even though I vote Republican. I am a staunch constitutional conservative. That's what I believe. And this room, thank you, Mark, for inviting me, by the way. This room was filled with like-minded, God-fearing people. The meeting was started with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance to the United States. I felt like I was back in elementary school, and I loved it. They allowed me an opportunity to speak, which was probably not a good idea since I have a tendency to ramble. And I had people coming up and shaking my hand at the end, thanking me for coming and offering up what I offered up. They're wanting me to be on a committee already, which I don't want to commit to that yet. But when you take that, being around all those solid people yesterday, and the reaction of my wife to my question yesterday, I am making the conscious decision to turn my life over to Jesus. Now, I was baptized when I was 7 years old. And the reason why was because the pastor of the church where we were forced to go when we were little, no little kid really wants to go to church. The pastor was leaving, and my mother wanted me to get baptized by him. Real good reason to get baptized, I think. Later on in life, I was probably in my 40s, I had a local late pastor, unfortunately he has passed, who preached a sermon one day on biological Christians. And I felt like that's what I was. It just, your parents tell you to do it, you do it, and you move on. So I was baptized again. Well, that was, looking back on that was a dog and pony show too. So I've always envied people like my good friend Jennings Hill, who is a staunch Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but you'll get my meaning here. He has a relationship with God, and I've heard that term all my life. I've never had it. I don't even know what it means until now. I still don't have that relationship. But after hearing Erica Kirk, I'm convinced that I need to open my heart, surround myself with as many people as I can, and change. I'm gonna pause here because there's a gentleman standing here. I won't even think I'm an idiot. I'm talking to a camera. So I can't express to you how hard this is for me to admit all this to right now just hundreds of people. But that's okay. But Charlie Kirk's death is not going to be in vain. I mean, if nothing else happens and I can continue on this path, his death is just going to have a little bit more meaning than it had. There are going to be millions of people just like me, from teenager to seasoned citizen. I know what I've always believed, and I've always put on the show, but I've never lived it. You can believe whatever you want, but until you live it, and people can see it in you like they see in Charlie and his wife, and J.D. Vance and his wife, you just aren't living the way you should. I'm getting to be a loss for words here. I don't want to be redundant. So I hope this is making sense. I'm pausing a lot because I'm struggling to find words because this is so foreign to me. This is not easy. It's just not. I'm not being emotional about it. I haven't cried about it. I just know that something inside of me is changing. I can feel it. The way I look at things, the way I don't dread tomorrow like I've been doing lately, and it's just really, really hard to explain. So if this makes any sense at all, I hope that maybe something good can come out of Wednesday. Well, I know something good's going to come out of Wednesday because there have already been 18,000 requests for Turning Point USA chapters across the United States. They've only got 9,000 as it is. So in one day, they got a request to triple it, right? There's going to be a spiritual awakening in this country. It's already started. Charlie Kirk started it, but with all the hate, and it's on the left, folks. You can say what you want, but all the violence and all the rhetoric is on the left. Trying not to be political here, I'm just stating facts. Just because you disagree with someone and what they're saying does not give you the right to cancel them and does not give you the right to kill them. That's it. My anger is gone. But that anger has been replaced with something even stronger. Conviction. And I'm going to tell you right now, when Paul Eberhardt gets convicted on something, strange things happen. And that was my wife yesterday. She said she was very, very excited that I asked her to find me the audiobook. And she said, if you can pour that same passion that you have for other things, meaning this channel and the walking and all of that, if you can pour that same passion and conviction into being a man of God, again, there's just no way to stop. There's no way to stop me. So I'm really hoping this makes some sense. You know, again, I ramble a lot, but I want to be able to hit home all the points today, because, you know, Jesus wept 3 times in the Bible. And based on my little bit of knowledge of who Jesus is, he wept Wednesday. And he wept Friday night when Erica Curtis spoke on television so eloquently. So my prayer today, I'm going to try to end each video with just a short prayer. My prayer today is I can become somewhat of a vessel on God's choosing, not mine, to help people that are in the same boat that I'm in right now. I'm not the only one. That is my mission. You know, Charlie Kirk was going after the young people because they're the next generation. They're the ones that are going to change this country. I want to target people who are wanting to change their lives. Because if I haven't learned anything over the last couple of days, you can't change by yourself. It's not possible. It's just not possible to do this by myself. So with that said, I hope all of you have a tremendous Sunday morning. God bless you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.